What's going on, guys? It is the Lone Courier here, and I am here to review Fallout 4 Automatron and Wasteland Workshop. Now, I want to touch on Wasteland Workshop first because it's the newest DLC and it'll take less time to talk about overall. So, yeah, Wasteland Workshop, first thing I want to talk about is the Steam reviews. And the Steam reviews so far are horrendously negative. Everybody is shitting all over Wasteland Workshop. And honestly, the main point of it, that their complaints are, is this is stuff that could be added via the use of mods. Now, that really does piss me off, that statement. That is a lot that you'll see in the comments and review section for Steam. And honestly, it just highlights everything that's wrong with the PC Fallout community, because they like to pretend that Fallout console players don't exist. And honestly, it's more a fucking DLC that's more beneficial to fucking console players, you know, because we don't have mods. And honestly, fucking PC players do have mods. They're lucky enough to have mods already. They're getting the GEC soon. You know, they're fucking lucky as shit. And us console players don't have mods. And it does piss me off because we don't have mods, and as soon as a DLC pack comes along that is actually quite beneficial to console players, they just rip the fucking thing apart. And it does piss me off, that, because it really helps console players. It's not so beneficial to PC players, but it really helps us console players out. Now, yes, a lot of the other complaints are justified because sometimes it's about the AI not working properly. Yes, I do agree, the AI for this game fucking sucks. Fallout AI in general has always been buggy as fuck. It's never worked properly, and the arena fighting modes in Fallout Wasteland Workshop really do, like, it kind of put a microscope on it and show you how bad it exactly is. Because one thing that did annoy me in this DLC was, with the cage fighting arenas, you basically get two posts that you assign settlers to if you want them to fight each other. There's a red and a blue one. Once you assign them, they'll start fighting instantly, and that pisses me off. I wish there was actually a button that you could just press when you want the two of them to fight, you know? That would have been a bit better, and it just does annoy me that you have to kind of hide the settlers from each other and so they'll start fighting, you know, so they won't start fighting instantly. That does bug the shit out of me, because that feels more like a problem with the AI, or just the AI being so incompetent and they didn't think to program a button that makes them hostile to each other. It just annoys me, you know, and it's not a feature that I am very keen on. Another thing as well is some of it's the one thing, the beta wave transmitter, which if you capture, well, which is the one thing with this DLC, everybody's like, holy shit, I'm going to capture death claws and big Yao Guais and all these big tough enemies, but you can't, because you basically need to have this big beta wave transmitter so they won't kill your settlers instantly. And to have that, you need quite high charisma perks like Wasteland Whisperer and Animal Friend, which are both perks nobody ever uses, you know. They're really hard to get a hold of, and nobody really invests perks, well, points of perks into the charisma tree. So it's a rather pointless stat to use, but you have to use it if you want to get the most out of this DLC, which does annoy me. Another thing with this DLC as well that I think is pretty good though is the crafting abilities, you know, like the new generators, the new water purifiers and stuff that they've added. They're really good, and a lot of people are complaining about them and haven't even mentioned those. You know, like there's this new thing called the fusion generator, which instead of having tons of shitty generators, you can have one fusion generator which will give you 100 power, or you can have basically the ability to plant crops wherever you want, which is quite an important thing for some settlements. There's one called Hangman's Alley, which is right in the middle of Boston. There is literally no ground to plant crops in, but you do get this one area, and it's basically this big square piece of land. Well, it's basically a square wooden box that has dirt in it that you can plant crops in, so that helps if your settlement doesn't have any dirt to plant crops, which is always good because not every settlement has access to that. For example, Boston International Airport doesn't have areas to plant crops or water purifiers, so that's always helpful. Honestly, the crafting abilities in this settlement like DLC are really good, you know. They do add in a lot of things that can be beneficial to both PC players and console players, but you know, the elitists just don't like to mention that and they just like to ignore it, so that pisses me off. But honestly, it's a good DLC for £5. It's really worth it for console players, you know. Even if it doesn't exactly work perfectly, it does add quite a few things that are really, really useful. So I recommend Wasteland Workshop as a DLC overall. It's only £5. That's not very much. You know, for £5 you can maybe buy 4 advanced supply drops in Call of Duty, or 4 supply drops from COD. You know, that's how cheap it basically is, you know. Or you could buy yourself fucking, I don't know, like a lunch or something. It's a pretty cheap DLC anyway. So moving on to Automatron, which is another cheap DLC that was released. Basically, it adds in probably about 3 hours worth of quests that you can do. A lot of new power armor modifications, the Tesla armor. It also gives you some pretty cool new weapons and whatnot. It also gives you some new enemies. It gives you more ability to customize your pre-existing companions, such as Codsworth or Curie when she's a robot. And that's pretty cool, because it makes Codsworth worth actually using now, because previously Codsworth was a bit of a shit companion. You know, he's just a Mr. Handy, not a very good companion. But once you've got Automatron and you've got the robot workbench, you can turn him into a sentry bot, which is awesome, and it basically makes him worth using as a companion now. So that's pretty good. Also, you can customize and build your own companions, which is always good. Another thing as well that this DLC adds in is the quest line with the Mechanist, which isn't exactly the most interesting. It's 3 hours worth of content. It gives you some pretty cool rewards along the way. I'm not too sure how much exactly Automatron costs, but overall I think it is worth it because it's pretty cheap. And for the cheapness that you get quite a lot of cool stuff as well. So it's pretty good in terms of armor and whatnot, because there is a new armor set. There's the Mechanist armor and the robot armor, which is pretty damn cool, you know. Another thing as well that I just want to say before I end off the video here is Wasteland Workshop. This is very influenced by what the Lone Vault Wanderer said. He basically said on Twitter recently that to those of you that are complaining about Wasteland Workshop, where were you when Gunrunner's Arsenal or Courier's Stash came out? And that is very, very true, because Courier's Stash was a pre-order incentive for Fallout New Vegas. Gunrunner's Arsenal was also a DLC release for New Vegas, which costed around £5 or so. Basically, Courier's Stash gave you an unfair advantage at the start of the game. It gave you a bunch of full condition weapons, full condition armor sets. It was very, very overpowered, you know, almost pay to win in that sense. You can't use that in single player games, that argument pay to win, but that is as close as the argument of pay to win as you can get in a first person RPG game. You know, it was very ludicrously overpowered that you just got handed a max condition armor set from the very get-go. I didn't like that, I wasn't keen on it, and it's a very fair point he made. Gunrunner's Arsenal as well, it's hard to access because it's close enough to Vegas that it's pretty far away from the starting area of the game. But basically it gives a bunch of weapons to each individual shop that do have quite overpowered benefits, like the plasma pistol that you can pick up in the first town that you wander into in New Vegas. The plasma pistol, very good gun, and it's a gun you really shouldn't have at such a low level, but they gave it to you anyway. And honestly, his argument about the Gunrunner's Arsenal is very fair, and it basically does the exact same as what is in Wasteland Workshop. It gives you a bunch of new stuff that could have been modded in. A lot of the weapons that were in Wasteland Workshop, well, not a lot of the weapons that were in the Gunrunner's Arsenal are just pre-existing weapons, which is a very good argument from him. And, you know, I just want to say, fuck yeah, Lone. Definitely got that one right. So yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. It's been Lone Courier. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. I always do appreciate it. And yeah, see you guys in the next one. Peace.